Howdy photographers, my name is Ben Eyles and I am a photography teacher at Wodonga TAFE. What I've got for you here is the rough and ready footage from my GoPro that I used to record most of my presentation at the seminars put on by the Albury Wodonga Photography Group. It was really nice of them to have us along to speak. I hope it was pretty interesting for those who attended, and this footage is a chance for those who couldn't come to see what we were doing. I want to apologise, the audio is not as good as I wanted it to be. There were a couple of issues with the venue and that impacted on my time to sort of work out how to microphone things. If you find the sound too rough, feel free to skip past the GoPro footage and we'll get stuck into a little bit of a talk through when I do a bit of a live photo shoot at the end. Hope you like it. It was really nice being there on the day.
Okay. I teach at TAFE. Before that I worked at the Board of Mail. Before that I worked at a newspaper in Tasmania. Before that I worked at a newspaper in Baden Bay. Before that I was in school. So now we're here. I wanted to do a little bit of a presentation for you about taking photos in 5 minutes. I thought it'd be exciting and quick and not take too long, which is advantageous given this morning, so that's cool. So I wanted it to be a bit exciting, so I thought I'd start with some maps. Yes, the first sympathy laugh, that is good. Come on. May there be many more. Alright. This is what you sort of get on a Monday, on a typical morning when you walk into the office. You go, hello everyone, put your gear down. You get a handful of these things, you pick your gear up, you sign out a car and you go. I've just blurred out the incriminating stuff. Photo requests. Each bit of paper is equivalent to one photo shoot. Okay? So if you can start to think in your brain how long you spend on a photo shoot, how many photo shoots you do a day, sort of thing. There's 5 there. Say we're working from 9:30 in the morning till 6 at night. That's your sort of standard work day. Those hours shift, but that's, you're working 8.5 hours. You can start to go, well, how many times does 5 go into 8.5, and you're starting to divide your time up. Let's say you get your lunch break that day. That'd be nice. We're down to 7.5 hours already out of the box with 5 photo shoots. Yeah. Alright. Let's consider the fact that one of these job sheets is in Holbrook. You've got a couple in between in sort of Albury Wodonga, Wangaratta, and your other job's in Benalla. Okay? So, I'm not good at estimating travel time, I'm not bad at it. What's the distance, what's the time Holbrook and back to Wodonga? 2 hours. Okay. Benalla and back with a few stops in 2 hours. Where are we up to now? 3 hours. Thank you. Can you keep doing that? Cheers. So we're at 3 hours now. Let's say you fudge a little bit of your lunch break, so you've got about 4 hours to shoot 5 jobs. Okay? Then you get 2 phone calls from your boss, and you're now up to 7 jobs. Alright? Sorry. Then, it rains, so you've got to get a weather photo, and touch wood, there's no accidents or any of that sort of stuff where you've got to pull up and over and get them too. So this idea of 5-minute portraits becomes less of a gimmick and more of a reality. Yeah? You get to an event, the event starts late, 30 minutes go of your day. Stuff like that happens. It's all good. So basically what I wanted to do was treat this like a job. I'll go through and click through some photos if you're interested in seeing that and the story behind them. If not, if that sounds boring, say no. Okay, so we'll look through some photos and then I'll treat this like a general news job. Ben, you've been sent to shoot the Albury Wodonga Camera Club's meeting in a dark room here. You've got to make something interesting out of it. We'll try and do it in 5 minutes. This is all smaller stuff now. I'm retired. I've gone on to full thirds stuff. But you know, you're talking Canon 1Ds with the staple. With a wide angle, 16 to 35, 2.8, 70 to 200, 2.8. If you need a 400mm or a 600mm, you grab it in the morning and you cart it around the day. A couple of flashes, usually two, sometimes one, often one. This was a new addition that I didn't have at TAFE and I wish I did. LEDs, good fun, nice for video, and just quick punch of light that your camera can meter, so it's a bit less thinking for you on the fly. Yeah, your camera can see it because it's constant. Alright, let's look at some photos. Are you having fun? I'm really nervous. It's different than at TAFE because, you know, you just got to listen. But yeah, exactly. And they can average the experience over a year and go, overall, Ben was really good. So this is sort of, I mean, nobody wants this to happen on their street. You don't particularly, you know, this was in Wodonga somewhere. I don't remember exactly where it was. It was a couple of years ago, probably. Something exploded underneath the road. And it adds to your workday. That's not a bad addition to your workday if you like taking photos of cool stuff. No one was hurt, so that was even better. Yeah. Council probably was hurt a bit financially. Okay. Which works our way back to here, so yes, you should all be upset. This is a photo of me at work. Sometimes I take photos of me at work. That was not on a 7-job day, by the way. That's at Old Tlangata, that bus bay is pretty cool. Old Tlangata? Yeah. Sorry, if I'm blocking your view. No, you're not. You have all the Tara Moss, the author, the ex-model, there's a couple of photos of her, and you have an awesome idea. You know, this was at the Cube, and the Cube light that hangs up above, it's like LEDs strangling. I was like, she's super tall, I'll get her on the top level with that as the background all blurry, and flash was set up, it was all good, and we're waiting. And then her minder says, nah, she doesn't want to come out of the green room. Whether or not that was the case, I don't know, because she was really nice when I met her. And so you're in this room like this, and there's a piano, and, you know, some fruit. And she's like, you've got 2 minutes. Thanks. So these were, they're not perfect exposures, they're pretty good for what you can get out of 2 minutes, and that's really kind of where you're at in the newspaper. It's like the best job you can do in 10 minutes and get it back in time. So feel free to pick the teeth out of them, but I'm not going to feel too bad because, like I said, I had 2 minutes. This ended up being, the lighting was a flash, yeah, bounced off my notebook back onto her. It was like, yeah. Sorry, if you're after fancy lighting solutions, you want to talk about expensive gear? No. Not really. Yeah. So literally this was 2 minutes. I got her in front of the piano. I said, can you come back to the couch? There's her books. The background's pretty rubbish, but it ran, and you know, we got a photo of her. This is when you're on holidays and you see a cool guy in a junk store and he's in your window and you pluck up the courage and say, "Go and take your photo." You take 2 photos before he says that's enough. And then no, this is Stanley, Tasmania. Yeah, just under the nut there's a shop. And the nut is a big, you know what the nut is, yeah. It's like, think, you know, Uluru? Think smaller and greener and in Tasmania.
You'll see a photo of it. I can guarantee it. I'll still have it in my.
There's a cute old man. I have a thing for cute old man. So this was the festival with the Chinese New Year festival they do. Cool. And I got there and they said, mate, the parade started early, so it's 3 blocks that way. So you trot off after that, and the job sheet said, and I caught up with the festival, got photos of the fireworks and all that stuff, and then the job sheet said, can you also get some 2 or 3 other cool photos? Everyone's packing up by the time you go back to town, because the festival's like the climax at the end, and you're running around and trying to, and then this, out of heaven, this guy appears. And, you got a couple of seconds. I didn't have a light stand or anything, so I grabbed some person and I said, excuse me, friend, can you aim this like you're shooting it and point it at this man? And yeah, we got a photo. 10 minutes later, we're back in the car to get to the third quarter of the footy in Wodonga, sort of thing. Yeah. This is Harry Bill at another time. A retired miner, puts his gear on again. This is sort of like the lighting here. It's not that fancy. It's just about balancing the natural light versus the strobe. By the time you get an exposure out there, everything's dark in under the shed. So a little bit of flash, torch, whatever. I mean, that was a little bit hard because he's got that torch light there, so there was a few things but mostly it's just handle the light you can't manipulate and then fill. Yeah, that's food photos, shallow depth of field, overexposed at heat, it looks pretty. Just old dudes again. Sorry, you always get off the screen, so people go a bit funny. That's alright. Yeah, that's better, isn't it? Oh. So the snake, that was an iPhone shot because my Canon wouldn't focus up there, so and it just worked out good. Like, it was a snake handler's house. He knows the snake, he knows the kid. It's not like, yeah.
Was it brown?
It looks a bit brown, I don't know. That's it, thank you. Thank you.
So that's your hands up in there, sir?
Yeah.
Were you standing on anything?
No, so it's just a Hills hoist.
Yeah.
So that was pretty reasonable. iPhones are awesome because the sensor's so small, so you can cheat that. I'll rephrase that. iPhones aren't awesome in many respects, but because the chip's so small in them, like depth of field to the wazoo, you don't really have to focus on that much.
There's one thing I like about that photo, Ben, the shadow on the back wall.
Yeah, that's cool. That was let's put it that way. I saw it and I thought I'm not going to get rid of that. I'm not going to. Under an awning, so like a balcony at the Yak Rescue Centre.
Wow.
Sometimes you get lucky. That's Mount. Yes, thank you. Gliders. Yeah. So I have a passenger seat in the front, pilot's behind you. And I was so sick. The vanilla in summer, and you wait on the tarmac an hour, like not an hour, probably an hour, till they tow you up into the air, which is pretty sweet. But you're just in this little plastic box in full sun, and then I'm shooting over my head with this. I would have, if I had that with me, I would have used that because it would have had more room to move. But and check in and shoot. He wouldn't do flips and stuff, which I was pretty stoked about. But he said the only thing I'll do is the dives. So we did a lot of and shooting those backwards, and then when he pulls up, so you get the ground behind him. Yeah.
So this sort of job, if your boss says you're going out and what's this is wide or something?
Yeah.
He goes, no, you're out in the light today. You can't say no.
I'm not going to say you can't, but there is a culture amongst newspapers. You just do it, So I'm not going to say it's peer pressure. They laugh at you. A little bit. Most of the time, I was like, because the staff turnover really slowly in photography departments and newspapers. That might change in a few months. I was the new kid, and I was the new kid for the 4.5 years I was there. Yeah. Okay. So the new kid gets a lot of the new jobs. Yeah. It doesn't necessarily matter to me because of just candlelight, underexposed, high ISO sort of stuff. It's pretty great. You can't see that now. Oh, you can. That's actually a really good projector. I mean, that's the sort of thing you just sort of guess. You know, if you meet up before the flames come out, you're going to probably overexpose stuff. Just shoot lots and check heaps and you're going to get one go at it. But a lot of that is, alright, okay kids, now when the cake comes out, we're going to do this. And alright grandma, now we're going to do this. And it worked that time. Good. That's just, you know, filthy direct flash off the top of the camera. It looks good there. Trick I find with that is just to run it a stop under or something, and it doesn't look so photocopier. That's the same, a little bit of direct flash in here. Anzac Day, Myrtlesville. Yeah, Buffalo Hotel. That was the then there. I don't know who the mayor is now down there. Probably, yeah. So I just camped until lest we forget. I knew that they were doing the wreaths, and I thought, come on, councillor, come my way, you kids. And that's sort of, you know, that's a very Boredom Alley look. They like that, shooting into the sun, screwing everything down, and then putting flash in there. Pretty much the same. It's Peter, isn't it, this guy? He is at the Wodonga Bulldogs games. Every time they score a goal, he riffs on the guitar and does a big hat. Yeah. 100th birthday. For his 100th birthday, he got the yeah, hands for me. And, yeah, that's just flashing to the ceiling. Yeah. Cheers. Just 2 minutes. So the light in the room looked like that. It was just about giving more of it. So just spreading it over the ceiling kind of lifted everything a bit.
Your lady behind the tour decided what he does.
Just do a quick shop. Ethically, one of the things about newspapers and ethics, don't laugh, do not laugh, is that photography, in terms of photography, you can't do swapping heads and all that kind of stuff. So this was another one of those jobs where it was, say, start at 1 o'clock, pick a guy up in Albury at 1:30, take him to Grania House, which is up in the hills in Grania, and if you could be back for your 2:30 job in Wodonga, that'd be great. So, and it was raining as, man, like everything was just terrain. So we got there, there's rain everywhere. I put him up there just so he was out of the rain. And you can actually see the light source in that photo. It's behind that rose bush. And yeah, the rain picks up. If you were doing this yourself and you weren't bound by the code of newspapers, you could shoot 2 frames of that, one with flash, one without, and just mask out everything out of them, you know, vice versa. Oh, we can.
You can swipe enhance, but you can't add or subtract anything.
Yeah, add and subtracting. Cropping's cool. Yeah, levels, curves, vignettes, selective dodging, burning. Fashion shoot, these 2 assistants. The light's coming in. Well, you know, can you work it out? That way. Yeah, and then there's a bounce back that way. I think at the time I was really into shooting the flash into the reflector and bouncing it back. We just didn't have softboxes yet. It's not bad. I don't mind it. On that gold side, it's not. Yeah, it's kind of flash inside the car on the steering wheel. You can see it. The hot spot on the wheel. Once again, it'd be cool if you could get the next frame and just put that wheel back in so it wasn't bright, but you can't. Well, you can, but you can't.
Is he moving and you're moving?
Yeah, so I'm sitting in the back seat of the work car while his wife is driving my car, and yeah, just taking lots of photos on a slowish shutter speed. I mean, we're on the freeway, so we're probably like 80s of a second or something like that. The trade-off of that is that I'm at like a bazillion or F16 or something, so he's copping quite a lot of flash. Yeah. Not because it looks good, it's just because he doesn't want cataracts. Yes, we did, on the record. We workshopped there.
So you've got that disease too.
The old, that building in the background's gone now. Yeah, I just got lucky going in under the bridge and it just emerging there. That was a fluke. That's when you go through your photos and go, oh, score. This is, back on that 5-minute portrait. Literally a couple of minutes to get the photo of these guys. I spent about 40 minutes waiting for them. Albury Tigers, they're awesome lads. Great club, but you just wait. You just wait when you're there. So knowing this, I thought I'll set up, I'll get my light up. That's one flash, aim between the two of them, up fairly high. And I thought, ISO 400, I'll get the sky and all that kind of stuff really good. But I thought, no, screw this, I'll go to ISO 2000, get the sky and all that. And then, as I waited, the sky got darker, so I opened the shutter a bit more. As time went on. I think I was down to about a 15th of a second when we got to here, which is fine handheld with flash, because flash helps freeze stuff. If I'd been at ISO 400 by the time they came out, I would have been in all sorts. I would have to build the whole thing again. So if that's confusing as to why the slow shutter speed didn't expose the flash part, it's because the aperture, for the most part, controls the flash. Yeah? Cool. Shall I go on? So, where am I? 2 flashes and a sun, and the sun. One was just squished into the netting and the other was on a stand. Yo.
Have you got your flashes on stands or?
Sometimes. I usually have one on a gorilla pod, so you can just tie it onto anything. But people are helpful.
Yeah.
And nearly always they'll hold it, and they're better than stands because they can follow. We had one reporter once who was really into tweeting real time, so you'd watch your light drift.
And right about there was where my GoPro pegged out on us, and that was fine because this is about where the photo shoot started off anyway. So we're working with a very handsome fellow called John. He's going to stand in, and he is my sort of generic person in charge at a forum. And this is the situation you find yourself in time after time again in the newspaper, where you've got a dark room, a bunch of people, you've got to grab someone in front of them, and you've got to try and make it all look a little bit interesting. So first up, I'm thinking, what can I do quickly, because I don't have much time? And I'm looking at that big window and I'm thinking, that's a nice big free softbox. Let's get our subject near the nice soft light, take some test shots and see what happens. Okay, we've got pretty nice light. There's a lot of shadow, the room's still pretty dark, and there's a lot of shadow on the other side of my subject's face. So I'm thinking, for now, I'm thinking reflector, because it's constant light and therefore it's kind of easy to work with because you can see what's happening with it. You don't have to guess or adjust on the fly like you do with flash. With constant light, what you see is what you get, and you can just, your camera accommodates for it. Alright, so I've brought a friend in from the crowd and he's holding my reflector and he's angling the light into back at the subject. So the window light's coming into the room, bouncing off the reflector and hitting the other side of the subject, which will give us something that'll look a little bit like this. Okay, our subject is now filled in. We've got some legibility in the face there. That's looking good. I can manage that reflection in the glasses simply by getting John to point his head in a different direction. So that's how I'm going to handle that. The crowd is still dark though, and I want to show that this is, a room full of people. And the other portable lighting that I have with me is, small speed light flash. Does everyone remember the projector screen? It's a big white surface. So I want to fill a big space. I'm going to bounce my light into the big white surface on the wall, and that's going to waft that light back over the crowd and hopefully fill in some shadows there. I'm going to guess the power, probably at about 1/4, and we're just going to see what looks good when I take the picture. And boom, we have too much light on our subject. It's not stressing me out too much though, because I know that jump has come in from the flash. Maybe there's some light coming in from the window. It seems pretty unlikely just given the circumstances of that particular day. So how do I catch flash? I can run over to the flash and turn it down. The trouble is I've got to dismount from the chair I'm standing on, run over there and fiddle with some power buttons. Or I can increase my F number a little bit, and that's going to decrease the flash exposure. If that darkens down the exposure on John's face, which it might, because that's ambient light, and what I can do to let some more light back in on John's face is drop my shutter speed, and that is going to lighten John's face but keep the flash power where it is because the aperture is looking after the flash. Cool. So once I've got my exposure locked in thereabouts where I want it, it's all about taking photos as quick as I can, as quick as my flash recycles will allow, trying to keep the mood happy, so John is happy, so the crowd's happy, trying to be quick because I know there's another speaker coming, and just trying a bunch of different alternatives, getting John to look in different directions, just to see what looks cool, and getting lots of options in my camera so I can come up, hopefully, with a printable photo. Alright, and then it's just a matter of getting these photos into Photoshop, giving them a clean up, the usual things you like to do to photos: crop them, lighten, dodge, burn, sharpen, those sorts of things, so that with a bit of luck and hard work we can come up with the finished images that I posted on the group's page here. And these are our final polished photos with natural light coming in through the window, being bounced off a reflector back onto John, and the strobe light filling in and adding a bit of legibility to the scene. That's sort of without the fill-in flash. That's with, yeah. And like I said, a lot of fun. Thanks for having me, and I hope you pick up 1 or 2 things out of this, and yeah, look forward to doing it all again next year. Thank you. Bye.